Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to All Praise Picks. Today we're looking at the NBA. We have another NBA Cup quarterfinal game, this time in the Western Conference. It's the Golden State Warriors playing against the Houston Rockets in Houston on December 11th, 2024. Currently, the Warriors are 14-9, which is 5th place in the Western Conference, and the Rockets are 16-8, which is 3rd place in the Western Conference. So I do think this will be a pretty competitive and good game overall. I have a few parlays for you guys on BetMGM. As always, I'll break down the lines, give you my thoughts, and hopefully if you tap in, we can all win. So this is the first parlay that I have on BetMGM. It's a minus 120 parlay with a 4 legs. It is pretty much focused on Warriors players. I do think that the Warriors will play pretty well in this game. Looking at the matchups between the Rockets and the Warriors in the past, the Warriors have actually won the last 15 matchups. So I do think that the Warriors, whether it's offensively or defensively, just have the Rockets' number. And I do think that they'll play it well enough in this game to keep it close, which is why I have them to have over 101 points in this game, as well as to not lose the game by more than 8 points. I think with the addition of Steph Curry into the lineup, it does favor the Warriors a lot. Steph Curry is a Hall of Fame player and the best player on the Warriors ever since he really got there. So I do think that they'll play much better in this game than they did in the past. And the Warriors actually beat the Rockets without Steph Curry in Golden State 99-93 on December 5th, which was just about a week ago. So I do think that the Warriors will be able to score more than 99 points in this game, which is why I took them for over 101 points, and should be able to keep this game close. Granted, the game is in Houston, so the home crowd does favor the Rockets, and ultimately I just think that as long as the Warriors are able to make their shots, they should be able to not lose the game by more than 8 points. I also added Jonathan Kuminga to have over 3 rebounds in this game. So Kuminga, once he's been inserted to the starting lineup, he's had an increase in his rebounding. Over his last 4 games, he's gotten over 3 rebounds in 3 out of those 4 games, and he landed on 2 rebounds versus Minnesota, who is a pretty good defensive team. But he also had 7 rebounds in the next game that he played versus Minnesota within a 2-day span. So I do think that with him and Draymond Green being the power forward and center for the Warriors, the rebounds should favor both Kuminga and Green, but I do think that Kuminga, especially if he has more playing time being in the starting lineup, should be able to have over 3 rebounds. Kuminga also had a great game versus the Rockets on December 5th. He had 33 points and 7 rebounds. Granted, that was without Steph Curry playing, and I believe Draymond Green was also not playing in that game. So this is why I have this parlay at a half unit rather than a full unit, just because I'm unsure of how the spacing will be or even the Kuminga's playing time when it comes to adding Draymond Green and Steph Curry back into the lineup. Lastly, I also have Steph Curry to have over 3 rebounds in this game. He's played very well versus the Rockets when it comes to his rebounds. I think he's gone over 3 rebounds in his last 5 games versus the Rockets, and it's just a matter of him being matched up versus Fred VanVleet, who is a much smaller point guard than him, which allows him to get the weak side rebounds as well as just the height advantage allows him to get more rebounds than VanVleet, who is a good rebounder in his own right. Steph Curry has also gone over 3 rebounds in 9 out of his last 10 games. So I do think that with him being healthy again and back in the starting lineup, he'll play enough minutes to be able to get 3 rebounds in this one. But at minus 120, if you invest 1 unit on this parlay, here I have half a unit, as I mentioned. I'm just unsure of Kuminga's spacing and playing time when it comes to adding Steph Curry into the lineup, which is why I reduced the unit in half. But at minus 120, if you invest 1 unit on this parlay, you have a 80% return on your investment, which is a pretty good return on investment, especially if the parlay hits. As always, just have bank consciousness and an overall understanding of your finances when deciding to place this bet if you do decide to place it with me. So this is the next 2 parlays that I have. The plus 105 parlay I did include in the Chimmy Challenge video, which you can see on my channel. But I just really like the matchup for Steph Curry in this one. Houston gives up the 8th most points to the point guard position over the last 15 games and the 7th most threes. So I do think that he should be able to score over 20 points and make 3 threes. He's also gone over 20 points in his last 10 games versus Houston and over 3 threes in 9 out of those 10 games, which is why I also took him to make 2 consecutive 3-point shots. I think especially with him playing with Draymond Green and the poor matchup that Houston has versus the point guard position, Curry could easily make 2 consecutive 3-point shots, especially if the Warriors realize that he is catching fire. And I like how this parlay is called the Double Bang Parlay on BetMGM. I'm unsure if it's available on other sports books, but at plus 350, I think it's just a pretty good overall value for something that happens more often than not when it comes to Steph Curry. I also have Draymond Green to have over 5 assists in this game. With the addition of Steph Curry back into the lineup, I think Green will just have a better chance of generating more assists, especially from passes to the likes of Steph Curry and Buddy Hield. I think that Green has also gone over 5 rebounds in his last 5 games, and I just think that with Curry back in the lineup, he should be able to generate even more assists against his defensive matchup with Alperen Şengün, who is a pretty good defender when it comes to inside the paint, but I think that Draymond Green, with his veteran presence, will be able to just pass out of the defense and find the open shooter, especially off of pick and rolls as well. Lastly, I also have Amen Thompson to have over 5 rebounds in this game. Golden State is top 10 in terms of rebounds allowed to the shooting guard position over the last 15 games and top 15 to the small forward position. And I think with Amen Thompson's added playing time that he's had over his last 8 games, it's allowed him to go over 5 rebounds in all of those games. And he's also had over 4 rebounds in every game versus Golden State that he's played. So I do think that if he's on the floor playing, he should be able to get 5 rebounds, especially on the weak side and just defensively overall. But at plus 105, it's pretty much just an even plus money parlay. And I have $20 here because I'm just including it with my Jimmy Challenge, which you can see in another video on this channel. But I also have the plus 350 parlay, which if you invest 1 unit on that parlay, you have a 350% return on your investment. And it's a pretty good return on investment. So I just reduced the odds overall to a $10 parlay for me, which would be a 20% or at least a 0.2 unit bet, just to play it safe. So this is the last parlay that I have. I put a little bit less than half a unit on this one just because I usually don't like betting unders, especially in a game that's an NBA Cup game that is bound to be competitive. But I just think that the Golden State Warriors have had the defensive number on the Rockets, and part of that is just limiting Alperen Şengün and the amount of points that he can score. So looking at Şengün's numbers over the season, he's gone under 21 points in 14 out of 22 games this season. And when you limit that to just teams that are top 10 or top 15 in defending the paint, like the Clippers, Oklahoma City, and including the Warriors, he's under in all of those games, averaging only 14 points per game. And versus the Warriors this season, he scored 14 and 16 points. So I think that the Warriors will continue to limit Şengün. And while this game is at home, I think that even if he scores 15 plus points, I think that the Warriors should be able to limit him to under 21 points. And if the game does go into overtime, it would suck for this parlay just because that's additional time for him to score. But I think that this game would likely not go into overtime. And even if the Rockets win this game, I don't think that Şengün needs to score over 21 points in order for them to win. I also have Steph Curry to have 3 3-pointers, which I mentioned in the previous parlay, and Draymond Green to have over 5 rebounds. So Green has been playing very well versus the Houston Rockets when it comes to his rebounds. And overall, in his last 10 games, he's rebounded the ball very well. He's had over 5 rebounds in 9 out of his last 10 games. And especially, I think if with this game being an NBA Cup game, he'll play more extended minutes. And I think that both Green and Kuminga have a good chance of getting rebounds. So I just split the odds essentially on them getting over the rebound mark. But I think that honestly, both Green, Kuminga, and even Steph Curry could have a good rebounding game because the Warriors are a pretty good defensive team. And like I mentioned, they have the Houston Rockets numbers defensively, which will generate more rebound potential. And I think that Draymond Green will be there to get at least 5 of them. But at plus 135, I put just a little bit more than half a unit on this parlay just to limit my overall unit size on the same game. But at plus 135, if you invest 1 unit on this parlay, you have a 135% return on your investment, which is the largest parlay of this video. But as always, have bankroll consciousness and an overall understanding of your finances when deciding to place these bets. So those are parlays that I have for you guys. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more NBA and NFL videos coming out tomorrow. And check out my Chimney Challenge video, which I released earlier today on this channel. And until next time, peace.